Today we are going to do the money piece face framing highlights, and we're going to do it on the front pieces of our hair, and we're going to do it using a knife and only 2 ingredients. We will be using the WELLA Color Charm Painting Balayage Lightener and a 30 developer. We're going to mix it up into a light paste so that we have the perfect consistency to apply to our hair. My hair was previously dyed, which is why I don't necessarily need to do a balayage throughout the entire head, but I have a new closure and we're gonna add the highlights to the front of that. Make sure you have some gloves on because you definitely don't want to get any chemical burns on your fingertips while trying to achieve this look. I'm going to go ahead and start by separating my hair and pinning back the front pieces so that I know exactly what portion of the hair I'm going to give most of my highlight to. It was never really my intent to do this highlight with just a knife, but I looked in the drawer and I couldn't find my hair dyeing brush. So I decided to experiment a little bit and decided to give you a knife-based tutorial. So you're gonna take your knife, you're gonna dip it in the paste, and you're gonna go up and down the shaft of the hair in a uniform motion, spreading it as if you're spreading peanut butter. Mind you, I'm using a plastic knife. I would not do this with a real knife because it would be entirely too sharp. I use a plastic knife and I'm going up and down the hair. Notice I'm not going back and forth like I'm cutting, just up and down. And I'm not necessarily moving my hand up and down. I'm kind of going down, bringing it up, down, bringing it up. And that way I can get even strokes for the highlight. You're gonna do exactly what you did on the left on the right hand side. Now I utilized a piece of foil to roll the hair up and pin it up so it wasn't touching my face since it is a bleaching agent. I didn't necessarily want it on my skin, but I didn't really think that through because you don't want to crumple foil on your highlight because it's gonna make for an uneven processing. So in hindsight, do not crumple it up like that, but luckily I was able to kind of manipulate it on the back end. Went back over the hair and kind of smooth it out with my hand after I did those strokes just to ensure that the highlight was all throughout the front, and then followed up with the knife in the plastic grooves of the knife to kind of give those strokes and just that neat balayage effect from root to end. As you can see, I have my money pieces pinned up, and I decided to use the rest of my Balayage lightener throughout my hair so that I can have an even and seamless flow from the closure into the bundles that I had previously dyed. And now I'm just kind of waiting for it to process. Remember, you don't want to process your hair more than 50 minutes. And at this point, I think I was right about at 15 to 20 minutes when I started to see the closure transform and it taking on the lighter shade. Now, I wasn't striving for a blonde money piece, you guys. I really just wanted a nice copperish auburn brown piece at the front because I love the natural brown and the current color of the hair I have. So I didn't want to try and do too much and do a platinum blonde money piece in the front. So I kind of did more of a subtle brown. All right, you guys, so I rinsed out the lightener and I'm really happy with how I can kind of see the color playing out. I made sure to rinse underneath my closure because I didn't want any of the lightener that may have seeped through the lace to touch my real scalp. I cannot reiterate this enough. Make sure there's no excess liquid underneath your closure. We don't want mold. We are now going to take our Chi heat protectant spray and apply it throughout the hair. Remember, you always want to treat your bundles just like you treat your real hair. And I would never go in with a blow dryer on my real hair without spraying heat protectant. So make sure you apply it to your bundles. Go through the hair with your whisk brush and the blow dryer to dry your bundles. But make sure you go in and still get in between those cornrows when you see fit. Now take your flat iron and set it to 400 degrees or more so that you can pass through your hair. With each pass of the flat iron, we're just revealing that beautiful color that we did on our hair. I decided that I wanted to do a more subtle money piece highlight because I didn't necessarily want to have the blonde pieces in the front because I didn't want to have to go back through and dye my entire head. So I can really appreciate this nice auburn color that's transitioning into that natural brown. So it's giving it kind of like that two-piece money piece look that we want, but in a nice natural way. As you can see, you guys, the knife method does work. If you do have a hair dyeing brush, I would highly recommend it. And also, this look does not require foil, so don't do the roll-up foil method I did either. And that is it for this tutorial, you guys. I hope you love this money piece face framing look. Be sure to like and subscribe.